Hello everyone, and welcome to setting up a 13 by 6 inch snare. Now in this little video clip, we're going to be talking about how to go ahead and put a head on this using a specific 8-lug tuning pattern that I like to use on the road, because not only is it very efficient in terms of time and very efficient in terms of balancing the head, but it's also great for when you're playing live to be able to have a reference point, or when you pick a drum back up out of a case after a gig, and to have a reference point to see what is loose, what is not from the night before, and quickly balance up your head so you can get to playing rather than setting up the drum. Now, what we have here is a Gary Colheim 13 inch by 6 inch custom made snare. He's my bro out of Baltimore. He set this up as a beautiful drum. I absolutely love it. It's been a great companion for the thinner snare drum. I like my 13 by 7 Tama. This one's that 13 by 6, a little bit crisper, drier sound. And while I love the HD dry head on it, I know that I want a little bit more open sound out of the smaller drum. And since I've done videos on an HD dry on a 13, I wanted to take some time to put more of a single ply with a little reinforcement or reverse power centered out from Evans, so you can kind of hear the tones more clearly of how to get the pitches you're looking for and get the things you want out of your drum and then tune quickly. Then once we put the head on, we're going to take it through a range of tunings in the studio so you can actually see me and walk through with me and experience tuning the drum yourself. And that way you can do this at home, because that's what this series is all about. Now let's talk about the tuning concept first that I'm looking at. Now basically what I like to do is take a set of lugs and put them right in front of me. And I call this my 1-2 position, or the vertical axis of a plus. Now if you look over here at 3 and 4, you realize this is a very easy to see horizontal axis of a plus. Now what's cool about this system is, again, when you see geometrical patterns in your tuning, it's a lot easier to get to where you want to be, especially if you know how the drum behaves in terms of one side comes undone, maybe one doesn't. On a snare drum, it's common that those front tension rods come undone. But that's the other reason I use this plus X pattern, because what it does is it allows me to pair up with other tension rods and check and use them as tension reference points. And that way I can actually look at the geometrical pattern, knowing which ones are a little bit looser, and go ahead and use the ones that I know are in pitch as a tension reference while I tune this one up. This is also a very useful technique to adapt to another technique I use called tap, tap, tune. So when you put it all together, you develop these relationships between two lugs, between two lugs, between two lugs, and between two lugs. And this helps keep the balance of the balancing that you did, helps keep the balanced in drum, and gives you a much quicker and easier way than trying to remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, which one did I miss? Did I skip one? Nah, man, with 2 keys, boom, 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 we're flying through this. Now, when you change a drum head, the first thing I always like to do is reset the drum where I like it. And a lot of people ask me, why do I use pitches? Well, because it gives me a great reference point to start with. Tension is cool, but with different thicknesses of heads, it's not always clear as to what the tension is versus the pitch. Whereas if I know this is tuned to a C sharp and this is tuned to a G sharp, then I can go ahead and get close to that and then fine tune the tension with some of the awesome tools they have out there to fine tune tension, like a drum dial or a tune bot to verify my work. Now, while I won't use those to tune as we're doing this, we're going to be using ears, hands, and a piano. We will finish off our work with these, so not only can you see how useful they can be in that capacity, but also if you use one, this is going to help you. So let's go ahead and get to setting some balances using this beautiful plus X pattern, because again, when you look at it, you realize that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus X, which never fails you in the dark, at a club, or in a theater, or in an arena, y'all. It just helps you get what needs to get done. So let's do this, y'all. I'm gonna nudge these back down a little bit, because again, that's the thing, man. Defining the pitch really helps you do what you need to do. Now I'm gonna find that pitch on here. And so when I tap around, I sing the note. I'm gonna move this one over here so I can define this one that's still a little high. And you heard it sing to life right there. So again, I have now balanced this head to a C. Let's go ahead and get this bottom head balanced to a G and then we're gonna get this head put on, and it's gonna be awesome, y'all. Okay, so the next step is go ahead and take this top head off and then rebalance the bottom head just to make sure we're in the right place. And I like to show people this procedure just to make sure, because I know a lot of people on my YouTube videos are freaked out. Oh, he's got a drill, he's got a drill. Y'all, I want to eat lunch during the day. I've done this enough to where I know for a fact that if I'm just gentle and guide it with my finger, I'm not going to strip anything. It's going to be all right. And again, you don't want to super torque down on it. You don't want to freak out on the drum and just be all. And I'm going to go ahead and mark my unique points here. So when I use this head again, because this head's only been played a little bit, it's almost a brand new head, so I'm going to go ahead and save it a touch. And that way I've got everything cruising. Oh, we got one more to get. Come on. All right, everybody's free. And so we're going to go ahead and put that right there. Kind of pop this hoop off. Now the cool thing is today I'm actually putting a different hoop on the drum, so I get to swap some things out. I'm going to be testing out some brand new microphone things called sound hoops, where the mic is actually in the hoop. And so we're going to see how those hoops do and how everything does tuning wise. But until then, I'm going to grab my little keys right here, grab my mallet, and check out this bottom head to the pitch I want. Now the good thing is the balance work we did a little bit earlier, hey man, paid off, y'all, paid off in a major way, because now, as soon as the tension is released, I realize we're just a little flat, and so I can go up. Now I'm going to go up in little eighth turns. Hopefully you can see this from the top, or you can see it from the side camera, but I'm just going up little turns. I'm not going up aggressively. I'm going up a little bit because, again, I want to keep that friction relationship good. I want to know that I'm not going too far one way or the other. Bam! And we're in place. So this is actually a G, and here's the cool thing. I can slap the head and get a G-ish tone, and slap the middle, not really knowing if the tone's the tone, because it's the tone of the whole drum versus each ring, or each tension rod in the ring. But if you hit this, you can hear it, and you can hear this one's just a touch flat. Bam! And you have that pitch reference, so you know that this head is now a G. So when I put the top head on and aim it for a C, I'll have a great tension relationship. Let's get that top head on, y'all. Okay, so before I put this drum head on, this is a brand new drum, and while I don't really think it's had any wear and tear, I like to use a little drum dial wax conditioner, the bearing edge conditioner. Not a ton. I don't like to put a lot on there. I just want to make sure there's a little wax kind of around the hoop. And I will stretch that on, make sure it doesn't have excess anywhere. Just put that little bitty bit on, because I don't want too much. You don't put too much of this on. And that way you're not sliding on the head, but you're keeping that bearing edge smooth, conditioned for the life of the drum. Give it that nice light white. Make sure it's still smooth. Much smoother than it was. Beautiful. And we're going to go ahead and put on a lovely Evans 13-inch reverse power center dot. Come on, or should I say reverse center power dot. I always get it backwards. And I'm going to go ahead and put this straight on, so I know where my straight on mark is. Make sure she sits nicely and centers nicely. Now again, I'm going to go one more, but I'm only going to go quarter turns now. I don't want to overstretch the head. I just want it to stretch evenly from the center. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab this drum dial here, double check my tensions, see what we're getting. Come on, dog. Sorry, I get excited, y'all, because this is 90 straight up across. Straight up all the way around. The reason I get excited, y'all, I've been doing this as a professional tech for almost 20 years. I've been playing even longer than that, y'all. Good drum sounds make me happy. Having drummers get great drum sounds. You just watch me with 3 rounds of full turns and a round of quarter turns with just a bit of quick touching up. Go straight up and keep the head balanced the whole time through. Drop the drum dial on. There was no in between me picking up that dial and you see me doing it. It was 90 all the way around the drums. Almost all just plus, X, and making this drum rock. So let's get in the studio, y'all. Now, before we go into the studio, I hit the drum once I put the head on and it sounded so good. I wanted y'all to hear it because, again, I haven't tuned this thing in any way other than y'all actually hearing me tune it. Y'all watch me do it. While this isn't necessarily the ideal snare mic, I do have an overhead. We have a snare mic. There's no muffling on this drum, y'all. We literally tuned it up to stretch. Here it is. This is what I would do to let it stretch out a little bit. God, this Gary Goldheim snare sounds great. And so you get the idea of just using this balance tuning, this 2-key tuning, and these geometric patterns can get you right to the sound you want, the way you want it, just like that, y'all. Now, before I get to tuning, I'm going to adjust this mic up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and listen to what we got here. Now, when I do this on my Skype lessons and on my online lessons, I like to actually have the drum sideways so you can hear the interval. And with the snare, you want to tilt it so it doesn't rumble, and you go, boom, ah, a perfect fifth. I'm loving that. And that's our a D and an A. And so we actually have a good reference point. So now that we know we have a balanced drum, that's to a D, to an A, I'm gonna take these down a set of half turns and see if we can keep it at church tight sound, that crack, that sensitivity of the snare, the rebound, without the church tight, like choke. I wanna hear this thing. Woo! Now we're gonna take it to the kids so you can hear the difference, but I'm gonna do this right here where you heard the other one. Now that's got crack. That's got throat. A little bit more richness in this buzz, so I still got rebound. And because I have it tuned to a perfect fifth on the bottom, it's throwing the sound up a little bit so you can feel the snap of it, and you can tune that drum a little bit lower. Get the rebound you want, the crack you want, without getting the choke sound. So let's take this to the kit, play on it a little bit, see how it sounds, and then we'll try a couple of different tunings. Solid. Oh my God, that's crack for days. And if I put it with this snare, which is just a little bit off of it, we can get a nice combination between these two. Not too far. And while I usually like a little bit of distance, and we'll check it out with this snare drum in a bit, it makes for some nice two-tone playing where there's this high with throat, but not too high. And so now we're going to take a minute and go ahead and retune this snare drum a little bit, just a little bit further down to see if you can actually use it for your main snare. Now, beautiful part is I have no muffling on this snare drum. Sorry to talk while it was ringing, y'all. I just get so gosh darn excited when drums sound good. So now we got a little muffling on. Let's see how we can make this a nice fat snare.